This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Regen auf mein Kopf. Hinter der Deckel muss es die kleine Fahrt ein Top. Geht mir kein Sach mit, die Tropfen von Regen.
Hey everyone, welcome to Kill Me Now with Judy Gold. I am your host, Judy Gold, and this week we have part 2 of my interview with Modi, and we're going to be having a part 3, a surprise live podcast with Modi coming up as well. So I hope you enjoy that. I just also want to let you know this is a very big week for me. It is my birthday on the 15th, which is tomorrow. If you're listening to this on Tuesday, it is on Wednesday, the 15th. And on the 20th, Monday, I'm getting my knee replaced. But I'll talk to you before then. But I'm getting my knee replaced. My left knee, it's about time. I can barely effing walk on it. It's hell. So it's a big week for me. It's a big week. And Sunday, I can't eat most of the day because the surgery's on Monday. And I'm going to be hangry and annoyed all fucking day long. Anyway, so that's what's going on. I just also want to let you know that I was in Atlanta on Saturday on the 11th, and I performed at the Marcus Jewish Community Center. And it was such an amazing show. A lot of people showed up. It was packed. We had to move to the gym, out of the theater into the gym because so many people came. And it was just, it's so weird doing these Jewish shows. I mean, Jews love comedy, and I do a lot of shows at Jewish community centers and theaters inside the Jewish community centers and benefits for Jews, because we've used laughter and humor as a coping mechanism for a very, very long time. It's different now. I mean, people are really in a different place, and it's, we could talk about endlessly about what's going on in the Middle East, but the anti-Semitism, just the blatant, the out of control, it's as if it was just waiting to burst. This anti-Semitism is so upsetting to so many Jews that it's hard to laugh. But I have, I can't tell you how many people said thank you and that this is exactly what they needed. And they didn't know if they could laugh, but they did. And I definitely feel it in the clubs when I talk about being Jewish. It's a different experience. It really is. People are openly anti-Semitic. And it's a scary, scary time. So if you haven't reached out to your Jewish friends, it's a little late on your part, but I'm sure that they would appreciate it. And I'm not talking about your views on Gaza and Israel, and I'm not talking about that. It should be a separate issue, but apparently it's not. And the pulling down of posters is anti-Semitic. The willful ignorance about what is going on in the Middle East is it's disgusting. It is disgusting. And the fact that people, are such experts. It's just, I mean, to me, it's incredible that people have these uneducated opinions. Get off fucking TikTok. Get off that shit. That's not where you go to learn. The misinformation, it's just so upsetting. But I just want to say, the anti-Semitism, you got to stick up for the Jews, because your lives would be shit without the contribution that Jews have made. Totally shit. And the people who hate the Jews so much should have to live without the contribution we've made. Okay? And see how fucking, how great your life is. It's just, I can't. I could go on and on, but I'm not gonna, because you know what? I have Modi on. So, I mean, how Jewy can you get? How Jewy can you get? So, yeah. I also want to say that I am going to see, Elisa, my lover, is taking me to see Harmony on my birthday, which is the new Barry Manilow musical that he wrote with Sussman. I can't remember Sussman's first name because I'm so tired. Let's see. But anyway, so she's taking me to see Harmony on Broadway, which, it's Bruce Sussman. I knew it was Bruce, but I was not sure. Anyway, so we're going to see that on my birthday. It's about a singing group. 3 of the members were Jews, and the Holocaust, and the Jews, and the Holocaust, and the Jews. And so we were, we went to Ben's game. I flew in from Atlanta early Sunday, and then we drove to Connecticut to see Ben play basketball. And we were at dinner, and Ben and his girlfriend Samantha, both, when I mentioned that I was going to see Harmony, had no idea who Barry Manilow is. And that makes me want to kill myself. It really doesn't, but it's like Barry Manilow is such a big part of my life and my soundtrack of my life that I can't fucking believe that my kids don't know who Barry Manilow is. It was bad enough years ago when Ben had all his friends over I think it was in middle school, and they didn't know who Barbra Streisand was. I mean, it's really, yeah, it's mind-boggling. But, I knew all my parents, maybe because I was just a nerd, that I knew all my parents, the Andrews sisters. I mean, I knew a lot of the Ink Spots. I mean, whatever. I'm old. And, now I'm older because I'm going to be 61. But anyway, that's that. So listen, enjoy my interview, my second part of my interview with Modi. He's very entertaining, as am I, and we're old friends. So sit back, relax, and enjoy part 2 of my interview with Modi. So you graduate. I mean, how do you become an investment banker? Or how do you get a job at Merrill Lynch with that degree? And by the way, you also went to Yeshiva's Bell School of Music to study cantoral music.
Yeah, so I had so now I moved to New York City.
Right.
I had this job.
Were you in BU with Elon Gold?
Same time.
Because I remember when he was in college, and I would work in Boston a lot, and I remember his senior year, and he opened for me. So yeah, that's hilarious that you went to school together.
So funny. Elon and I went to BU. I was a Chabad guy. I went to the Chabad house, and he was a Hillel guy. But we crossed paths once in a while, and someone would tell me, "Oh, he's a comedian. He wants to be a comedian." I go, "What does that mean? You can tell jokes? What? Really?"
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand, my first time at a comedy club is my first time performing.
Yes, I know. We'll get to that. Shut up. Don't bing. I have that. But you go.
Can we take a minute? Can we take a minute from me? Just 1 second from me.
Oh, because I
wanna-
haven't
what-
been talking about you at all.
No, I said one.
Oh.
I want to take a break from me
Oh, from you.
and discuss with all the gays in your life. You couldn't find someone to help you decorate that room.
Okay, first of all, you fucking fuck. My friend's child is staying here. Okay.
Okay.
So
Those of you only listening, allow me to describe the
no,
room.
please. It's in. We just painted. We're cleaning it out. We're gonna be putting up stuff. But my friend's child is staying here. So the sofa is now a bed. Shut the fuck up. He's 19 years old and he studies opera at Oberlin. And he's a Jew. Okay, it's not a great room right now. Okay, but it usually looks good. Go fuck yourself. All I see is a black wall behind you. You're so judgy.
You're saying this is our art. This is our art.
Okay, great. Okay. You
curse so much.
I know.
You and Periel curse so much.
I don't know. It's been since I'm a little girl. I used to get in trouble for it. I got the belt. I used to get in so much trouble, but I'm telling you. Okay. So you get a job at Merrill Lynch as an investment banker. How do you go from psychology to investment banking?
Okay, so I got a job first in psychology. I was working at this mental health clinic thing. And then my friend said that they were hiring before Merrill Lynch, I got a job at ING. It's his Dutch bank. And I came on as like an intern on the FX desk, on the derivatives FX desk. I knew nothing about it, but I learned. And I worked with a guy. So this is how long ago this was. I worked with a guy who used to smoke
in the office, of course.
This is just for context. This is 1992-3,
right.
which was already the end of that smoking indoors. Yeah. But he was such a high producer
that they allowed him to. It's like Dave Chappelle in the comedy clubs. He could. Yeah.
Yes. So now, my mother, until my bar mitzvah, used to smoke three packs a day.
Wow.
And so I could be in a room full of smoke without even feeling it. I was his assistant for half a year. No one lasted that long. No one lasted that long.
And now you have lung cancer. Good night, everybody. Okay, go ahead.
Good Shabbos. And then I got my licenses, my Series 7, 63, commodities, blah, 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 blah.
Was it hard to, I mean, I have ADHD too, and undiagnosed, now it's been diagnosed, of course, but was it hard to learn all that, or was it easy because it's so mathy, quickie?
As you know, somebody with ADHD and dyslexia, we learn tricks.
Yeah.
I also stutter. I just had breakfast with my friend Arthur Luxembourg, and he's a trial lawyer with a very strong stutter. But you learn tricks.
Right.
For example,
yeah.
So we talked about that actually. Biden's a stutterer, and he also knows tricks, but he's a little old now and forgetting his tricks. So, for example, the letter M, L, and S. I can never start a sentence with those letters.
Okay.
So if someone asks me, what's your name? I never say Modi.
So my name is.
I have to be.
Oh no, you can't say my.
No.
You can't.
I am Modi.
Right.
I'm already in the M.
Wow.
Right? Is there a protest happening
right now.
in this
I live
room
off of Amsterdam Avenue. It's so fucking annoying. Go ahead, sorry.
And so in banking, I learned all the tricks that I had to learn there. When someone would put an order in my mind, I knew I had to verify the number 5 times. So I would write it down. And of course, which is also could be a disaster because sometimes if they say 5,136 shares, in me, the 1 and the 3 could be switched 13165. So I had like so many ways to verify and check myself. I had all the tricks.
Right.
You learn tricks.
Right.
Being ADHD and dyslexic, you learn tricks to do it. And I learned all those tricks.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It was, I got my licenses. It was, if you think my mother was impressed from Fiddler on the Roof, when I told her I got all my licenses.
I know. So you pass all these things and you're an investment banker.
Because let me tell you something, because all her friends were all trying to get into this business, all her friends' sons, and they were all failing this exam. So when I came to her and told her I passed all these exams, she was like, what?
But
that was what? It. Yeah.
Then she was like, my son, Modi, he passed all the exams. Modi, he's so what? I love the Modi. Okay, so anyway, and I remember you when you worked at Merrill Lynch, but we're not going to get there, but we're going to say that you still no idea about performing, but you would come home and you would imitate your coworkers or you would imitate them at work. And your friend Donnie Moss,
who for 1 minute was going to be a comedian, ended up opening for you, and he opened for you in P-Town or somewhere, and his entire recollection of, if you could sum up his comedy, he said to me, when I opened for Judy Gold, she goes, go do 15 minutes and then you can go get your dick sucked in the dunes.
At the TikTok, yeah.
What the dick? That's his entire. He said, he did comedy for a minute. He was very funny. He was a very Wendy Liebman type of comic, like blah, 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 that. And, but he opened for you and he said he'll never forget that. Just do 15 minutes and you can go get your dick sucked in the dunes.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. They're the home of the #1 checkout on the planet and the not-so-secret Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds and Skims use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/start selling, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/start selling to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/start selling.
At this time, now, this is the 90s and you're gay at this point, right? You knew in college, but now you're actively being a gay man, but not telling anyone.
Easy.
No, I'm saying I'm not judgy. I'm saying that you are. Okay. I'm not being judgy. I'm saying a lot of people felt threatened. But I remember you. I'm like, I know he's gay, but then you would have like girlfriend. Like I would think,
Okay, so officially I'm bi.
Right.
Leo, my husband calls me a highly functioning bisexual.
Okay.
That's how he refers to me. I had boyfriends and girlfriends, and I brought them to the Comedy Cellar. Yeah. The comics all knew I was gay. Right. They didn't know if I was coming in with a guy or a girl, and it was completely on stage. I was just a big Jew. Right. I didn't talk about any of that stuff. I never had a joke. My girlfriend did this. My boyfriend did that. You know what?
You're talking to someone. I came out in '96 on stage as a gay parent. Right. But before that, everyone knew I was a big lesbo, but I didn't have any jokes. I was in a it wasn't part of my persona. And I was working in the straight clubs and it wasn't something I wrote material about. And then once I had a child and I was a gay parent, and it was like, oh, how do I not talk about this on stage? I have to. And what kind of message
Right.
does it give my children where I'm like, oh, no, we just don't talk about it. No, I want you to be proud of this family. So you were going through that period of time that I went through in the 80s of, everyone kind of knows you, but you don't talk about it on stage, and it's fine. But I also remember you always being in a really nice looking suit because you were working all the time. You would come from Merrill Lynch. I was like, God, he's like dressed. He's like Armani,
I again, one time when I was doing open mics and whatever it was, coming from Merrill Lynch in a suit. One time I spoke to you about this on my podcast, but I was on a show with you at a bar called Uncle Charlie's.
Yes.
And I showed up in a suit in this gay bar. And then you were like looking at me, and you had some like quick comments about the suit and whatever, and then it was just very, very funny. It was just, but yeah, I used to come from the bank directly and go do my spots. And which is today why I'm much more comfortable on stage with a suit. And that's a persona that I've made. And by the way, I just did, I had the tour in Israel. I had 6 shows in Israel and then 4 shows in Paris. And I had to schlep 4 suits with me.
I know. That's what people don't understand with my suitcases. I don't dress like a slob.
On the day, yeah, you don't. You actually pull it together for stage. On the day that my show was canceled.
That I hate you so much right now. Go ahead.
Okay, and then
Go ahead.
On the day my show was canceled in Paris, Matteo Lane, like again, that's a part of my comedy family as well. He was doing a show, and I went and I did 20 minutes before him. I opened for him.
Oh, awesome!
Have you seen how he's dressed? A crop top.
Oh yeah,
no sleeves.
I know.
A pair of jeans from 1980, and he could pack for a 9-week tour in a knapsack.
I know.
I'm with valises.
I don't understand it.
You're
from the same school. I know you're from the same school as me, and that I always put on makeup and I always put on an outfit because I feel like it's my job. And these people are paying a lot of money, and I should. And like I remember a Catch a Rising Star in the late 80s. Adam Sandler comes in, and he's like, 19, whatever. I don't know. He was very young, and he comes in and he's wearing sweatpants and like total slob. And Louis Ferranda says, he was the bartender. And then he became,
Louis Ferranda.
Yes, no, I'm saying for the audience, he was the bartender at Catch, but then he became the booker at Caroline's. But he says to me, he's going to be a really big star. I'm like, look at him. He didn't even shower. And of course, he was right.
Yeah,
I know. It's just so funny. Like, I don't know. I think it's a Jew thing. Look nice. Okay. So, and
I will listen. I one of my gurus in life, RuPaul, says if you want to put a suit on, people take
like
you
Tony
more seriously.
Deo does too.
And I'll tell you something. Even up the suit. So when I began doing comedy, the tail end of the Catskills was going on, and
I know this story.
I used to get booked.
Yeah,
I used to book. They booked me nonstop at these like 5 different hotels, nonstop, same act. I did the same act, and they loved it. And I had in the back of the car, I had 2 tuxedos.
Wow.
And the shirt, and it's tuxedo. Couldn't be easier. I got there, put this thing on.
And
I wore tuxedo with a black tie, with a black tie, not with a bow tie, a black tie.
Right.
Woo! That was cutting edge. And I would just do the shows. They loved it. It was tuxedo, a tuxedo.
Yeah. I mean, I love that.
You almost got me to say the F word. Yeah.
Oh, shut up. So one of your mentors is someone I worked with, who gave me some amazing advice, was Alan King. And I worked with him, and he told me
What?
that I was working. We did this thing at Harvard. It was me and him, and oh God, who was it? It was Paul Rodriguez, someone
Wow.
from fucking not Bob Newhart, but from the Carol Burnett. Anyway, and it was for PBS, and I was the one female comic, and I was working at Rosie, and he said, "No, you cannot write for other people. You are a performer." And he said, "I did it. I wrote for other people. I'm telling you." And he, he was like, "Don't go down that path of writing," which I took his advice, and God, if I had gone down that path, I would have such a nice apartment that you wouldn't be fucking criticizing, you fucking asshole. Anyway,
Or you'd be on strike right
yeah,
now.
well,
How's that?
Well, I'm in the Writers Guild. But anyway, so you you had comedic influences, although you had no idea you were going to become a comedian. And you start doing stand up in the 90s because Donnie tells you, "This is funny, you should do comedy." And you're like, "What the fuck are you talking? I don't even know." And he takes you to a comedy show that you're in, and you go up and start telling these stories. And now when you got your first reaction, that first laugh that night, and you said it was like when you did Fiddler, but
yeah.
was that when you said, "Listen, I'm not going down this I can't do this Maryland shit"? I mean, did that?
No.
Wow, that's amazing.
No, and no. I'll give it to you. I never even thought this through, but great way you set me up. You're very good at this thing.
Thank you.
I'm at Merrill Lynch. I come home, and me and Donnie and whoever friends we were with, I would tell the stories of the secretaries and the accents, and they would die. Donnie said, "You got to do this on stand-up." I go, "What do you mean?" At that point, the only people I've ever seen do stand-up was on HBO, Bill Cosby, that amazing special he had where he sits in a chair.
Yeah, he's a great guy too. Really fantastic person.
Amazing guy.
Yeah.
Love him. Really, really
a quality
really,
person.
A Doug Machaya. Really,
mensch.
Anyway,
yeah.
A mensch. So that was the only comedy I saw. And then one time I saw Buddy Hackett.
I opened for him either at the Concord or Grossinger's. Yeah.
So I never really saw stand-up comedy.
Right.
And then so I never saw how it works.
Right.
I never saw, back then it wasn't on TV like it is in nonstop now. That was the only two things. I only had reference of comedians. I get on stage. I wasn't doing comedy. I was doing what I did at the table. Then Kerry Hoffman,
Coffee Breathman, we called him.
Coffee Breathman.
That's what we used to call him.
It was his club.
Yeah.
He happened to be in the room, and he said that was very, very funny. You have to understand, it wasn't Jewish. It was just over the top.
Right. Oh, I remember.
Literally,
Modi. I remember.
To be honest with you, it was drag without
100%.
Without a dress. It was drag without a dress. Oh my God!
And I have to say, knowing you for so long, I've seen how your comedy has changed and developed, and you were such a performer in the beginning, but you didn't have the craft, because it takes 10, 15 years for the craft. So you were really pushing it. You pushed it a lot. And now you're so much more nuanced. And it's so nice to see. Like, I love watching the development like that. But I knew you were, he gets the audience in the palm of his hands. You were compensating for the lack of experience, and you've but you got all of that experience, and you're so nuanced,
And
but you were killing.
and lack of a voice.
Yeah, but you were
Yeah.
killing. I was the same way. I was this like tall, loud Jew. But once you work on the craft and the craft and the craft and get on stage and the craft and the jokes and the bring the story up, don't write on stage.
So-
Yeah,
So to just summarize what you're saying is this. I was right in the beginning. I was closing the shows at Stand Up New York and at the comic
Right.
strip, and it was because
no one wanted to follow
had
you.
them at the-
Yes.
right. But what wasn't developed was the
Right.
voice, and then when the voice developed, it became a Jewish voice, not a gay
Right.
voice, and that's how that went into. But yeah, and keep in mind, one of the things is I still didn't want to be a comic. It wasn't it was like a fun
Right.
thing that
You
I was
never
doing.
took it seriously.
So,
Yeah.
so I was like, I don't care. I got nothing to
Right.
lose. Let me go sugar on the stage
Right.
here. Let me go wild here. I don't care. Other comics like, oh my God, that joke didn't land. Oh my God, I'm not going to get in the
Right.
spot.
I know. You
I'm like,
didn't
I don't
have
care.
that. I know. You
I don't
didn't have
care.
that. I mean, which is, I think you're pretty lucky that you didn't have to deal with that
Yeah.
shit, because
Yep.
you know, you did a very Jewish thing, which is, you know, my mother was like, you have to have help. I would work during the day. I'd barter at places for health insurance. So I was a typesetter. I typed really fast, and they don't have typesetters anymore, but that's what I would do. And I'd work enough hours so I had health insurance, and then I'd go out and do my stand up. But I wasn't one of the comics who was not working, you know, not taking care of themselves financially and then complaining. So we come from sort of the same, you know, being
Again, bringing us- and
responsible.
let's- Looping it back to why I loved Alan King.
Right.
Alan King's comedy was not, I'm a struggling
Right.
performer. He was like, I'm doing shows with Judy Garland and this
Right.
and that. I bought a house in Great Neck.
Right.
I'm producing shows here. He was from a place of success.
Entrepreneurship.
Not he wasn't from a place of I can't get my rent, so I can't this
Right,
and
right.
that. It was more,
Yes.
I like this, I like that. And the cadence and the timing
he was
my
and a
favorite.
great
Yeah.
joke
I'm-
and a great guy. I loved him.
Yeah.
This week's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, you know I am a huge advocate for therapy. I talk therapy. I like physical therapy too, but you know, I'm talking about talk therapy. I've been in therapy since I'm 18 years old. There is nothing better. Nothing better. And it is a stressful time. You know, we just had an election. It's the holidays, and we're going to have to spend family time or not spend family time. It's a decision you might make in therapy, because therapy is really the best way, the only way to process your feelings, anxiety, depression, everything. I've been doing it for over 40 years. I know what I'm talking about. So if you've been thinking about starting therapy, if you thought about it for years and just didn't do it, please give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It's suited to your schedule. You go to betterhelp.com/JudyGold. You fill out a brief questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch your therapist at any time for no additional charge. I've done that multiple times in my life, switch therapists. It works. It works. And I know a lot of people who have used BetterHelp, and they love it. So find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/JudyGold today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JudyGold. You're welcome. I know we're supposed to wrap it up, but I have to ask you a few more things. Number one, I can't believe, I mean, and I worked the Catskills too. A lot of us did. I would do the midnight show, and then finally you got graduated to the other show. But, you know, it was such a lesson, because if you want a tough audience, those fucking Catskill audience, they just don't laugh. It's like, too bad. They're not polite.
But when you get them,
yeah.
You'll never have a high like that again. Yeah.
The theme song of my podcast is the Barry sisters singing "Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head" in Yiddish.
Oh.
And that's the theme of my podcast. That's our theme song, and which is probably illegal, but I don't care. I love the Barry. And you opened for Claire Barry at the fucking last weekend. The Concord was.
Yeah.
I just, can you believe these people we got to meet? Oh, Claire.
Stop. Are you kidding me? Come on. Freddie Roman, Alan King, Stewie Stone, Zecharim Avracha, comics that
Henny
were, and more. Henny Youngman, Shecky Green. I have a picture of me, you, Pat Cooper, Caesar. What's his name? Sid Caesar. We did a show for the Friars Club.
Yeah.
We did a show. I have a picture.
Oh my God!
Me,
can you send me that? King. We'll use this as the clip.
Wait!
Yeah.
Stop! What's the name of the other guy? He bombed that night. He's the guy that has the bit. I can't stop my leg.
I can't stop my leg. It wasn't Kevin Meaney, was it? No. Kevin Meaney was hilarious. Who did I can't stop my legs? Who it is.
He had like 9 HBO specials there. And he always did the same bit. I can't stop my leg. Whatever. Anyway, he was on the show and bombed. And Pat Cooper came on.
Oh,
and
so
Pat
funny.
Cooper's opening
Robert Klein. Robert Klein.
Robert Klein died so bad that night.
Wow.
Pat Cooper comes. So Robert Klein bombed. And then Pat Cooper comes
Robert
on.
Klein, another guest.
Stands. Looks at the audience, like dead silence, and says, "I'm here to tell you that Robert Klein's funny." And the audience died. Another thing that happened that night, Henny Youngman was in the audience in a wheelchair in the audience, and Freddie Roman said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have tonight here the legend Henny Youngman." Hands him the mic from the wheelchair on the thing. He did 10 minutes of nonstop ding jokes. I'll find the picture. I have
to tell you, I loved those Friars. I mean, I love that. Again, it's someplace I would be going right now for lunch, considering what's going on in this, but it's not open anymore. But being a woman in those shows, like I was the Jewish woman, it was challenging sometimes.
I never thought of it, but it was always like 5 guys, and they put you or Corey Kahaney on, and that was it.
And that was it. And we had to be like very effusive
or Wanda
to them.
Sykes Hall, or Wanda Sykes Hall to show how diverse.
No, you don't say
they
Hall
can be.
anymore. You don't say Hall anymore.
What is it?
It's just Wanda Sykes.
What is it? Sorry.
Yeah, you better be fucking sorry. So
I'm sorry. I love her.
I know, I love her too. But then she was that. Okay.
We
have to have another podcast because I have to talk to you about what it's like to be out in the Orthodox community, which is and the Jewish community.
Okay, so we'll do another podcast, but we should end this up like. But I want people to listen to this podcast, and again, it's in the middle of a war, and the reason we talked a little bit about it in the beginning, and the rest was just nothing about the war, just so that you could have an hour of just
not
your brain. Right. Not in it. People, I love nothing. I love more when people come to tell me, we listen to your podcast. You know what? And it's just an amazing hour to just not have to think about.
Okay.
And thank you for just.
I love you, Modi. We're like brother and sister.
Too,
okay. Just tell the audience why I always ask what you do for your mental health.
I exercise.
Yeah, same.
The gym. If I can give some people advice, and not that people ask me, but when you go to the gym, don't be like, oh, I have to do this because I ate muffins last night and I had pancakes 2 days ago. Go to the gym to celebrate what your body can do. Even if you're picking up a 5-pound weight, go, thank you, Hashem, for allowing me to be able to do this. And enjoy it. And
you feel so good when you're done.
and you feel amazing when you're done. And again, half the challenge is just to get there.
I know.
And you get there, and then
It's
do whatever
always
you
the
can
right
in your
thing.
house. So
Yeah.
it's always the right. Yeah, and that's
Okay, the last question we ask, because it's called Kill Me Now, is what pisses you off more than anything in the entire world? Like, what makes you crazy mad? It could be anything.
People's dogs in the city. It's out of control. Barking dogs.
And shit.
I live in a building.
I have so many
The shit
dogs
is
in
out
my
of
fucking
control,
building. I
too.
walk out of my door and it's like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah."
It's the barking of the dogs is not okay. Your dogs are not. I know you think you're saving the world by this rescue, this free dog you got. It's driving me insane. We had a situation here. Luckily, it's resolved. But a barking dog, if you're in the Hamptons, have a dog. If you're in Manhattan, your dog is barking because you left the apartment and it's an emotional
Right.
mess. It's not okay. You are affecting the quality of life of other
Yes.
people. And and I don't know why. This is just I'm sure if I knew this question was going to be asked, I'd have something
All right.
better.
Well, next time we,
But what was the question again?
what pisses you off more than anything in the entire world? Like,
I mean,
makes you
Hamas,
crazy.
Hamas,
Beyond.
Hamas. But I mean, but I wanted to get something a little more specific. But obviously, because I know, because people are gonna be like, kids are being kidnapped in Israel, and you're worried about dogs. I'm like, really?
I know. It's
I
like
just-
you can't
but
say
that would-
anything anymore. You can't say anything.
No.
And it's always but. But when you say, when you say Israel, when you defend, oh my God, these hostages, it's always yes, but. But when you say
I will
something
say
about
that- I
the
will
innocent
say-
Palestinians, it's not but, ever.
And I'm
Which
going to
I
say
feel
that. I'm
bad
going to
for
say
them.
that. That I'm going to also say that our audience, by the way, really came through. I had those shows right after the war broke out. I have shows coming up, and we made an announcement that, look, we're doing the shows. Proceeds will be given to the FIDF, and we sing Hatikva at the shows. And I never got back anything like, how can you do shows? How can you
Right.
do shows? Ilan, I spoke to Ilan. He says he can't get on stage now and
It's
do
very
shows.
hard.
He doesn't.
I have to because I have kids.
It's because no. But I'll tell you why it's hard for him. He is in his phone
Yes.
and Instagram and news all day long.
Right, and he's
I can't do
doing
that.
this thing like stop scrolling, and he's scrolling, so he's got to.
Yeah. No, that was a very nice post he did with the Torah
Oh,
scroll
absolutely!
and the two
I
portions.
love that. I love that.
I loved it.
Modi, we got to do another one. I think that a bunch of us should actually do one. Jewish Comics Speak Out, and
Okay.
because and Leo's adorable. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
He loves
I
you.
love him. Modi, thank you.
I don't know when it's airing. Everybody, I have a tour coming out.
Oh yeah,
ModiLive.com.
Yeah, ModiLive.com.
ModiLive.com. I have a whole bunch of dates all over America between February and to the summer. You will.
Oh, I'm 60. Okay, go ahead. Oh, I'll be 61
No,
when this
Kanai Hara.
whatever, I'm old. You'll see.
I said Kanai Hara. You could hit a bell for the Kanai Hara. So get your tickets. Not only that, be the friend that brings the friends to the comedy show. When you see me or Judy selling a show, buy a bunch of tickets.
Yeah.
And be the one to be like, hey, what are you doing? I got a ticket for you. It's such an amazing gift to give people. What are you going to bring over a challah?
Exactly.
You're gonna
Bring
over
people to laugh.
I brought you a bottle
Right.
of wine. No, I got 2 tickets for you and whoever your significant other is or that mess you're dating. Bring them. I got you covered. Be the
love
friend
that.
that brings the friends to a comedy
And
show.
call your Jewish
and,
friends and tell them you love them.
ModiLive.com, ModiLive.com, and I have a podcast too, which Judy's
Yes.
on. Very good episode
love
with
that
Judy.
episode.
And here's Modi. Yeah,
And
great clips from
Henry
there. Yeah.
is that he listened to that entire episode, has never listened to an episode of my
I heard.
podcast. Fuck him, fucking
I
asshole.
heard. Maybe because it's hard to. Well, he can listen, but to watch that room is very hard.
Fuck you.
You.
Love you.
Be
Thank you.
Stay, by the way, I'm so. My happiest thing from the end of COVID was I was able to stop saying "stay safe."
Oh, I know.
But now,
Stay
safe
safe,
is back.
I
Ugh,
know,
God.
it's awful. Thank you so much for listening to part 2 of my interview with Modi. This wonderful podcast is produced by Laura Vogel, edited by Colin Schmaling, marketed, clipped, everything else by Brittany Jo Sowards Richmond. I'm not going to be plugging any shows, although I should plug the show that I have coming up on December 16th at the it's SOPAC. It's the South Orange Performing Arts Center in South Orange, New Jersey on December 16th with the amazing Liz Glazer. So that's going to be a nice Hanukkah show. So that will be my next big gig after my knee replacement. Oh, yeah. So let's hope that goes well. I want to thank you all so much for listening. If you're listening to the end, I love you. I just want there to be peace, and I don't want to walk around in fear. But I'm a changed person. I think every Jew you know is a changed person. Even the Jews that weren't even Jewy are a little more Jewy now. It's interesting how that happens. But, pray for peace. No one wants any of these innocent people dying anywhere. I mean anywhere. I mean in Israel, in Gaza, in other places where this happens all the time and it's not reported. Yeah. War is terrible, prejudice is terrible, and, I wish the world was a simple place, but it's not. Anyway, so that's that. That's that. I'm an old Jew, and I love you so much for listening. And what else do I have to tell you? Nothing. I know I sound a little nasally because I haven't slept in a few days, and this is what happens to my nasal Jewish voice. So, thank you all so, so much. Thank you for reaching out. I hope you're following me on the Insta at Judy Gold, JEWDY, GOLD. And, I don't even go on X anymore. I do. I check it sometimes, but I don't know. It's annoying. But I'm into the Insta. So follow me. I'm doing some fun stuff on there. And I don't know what else to tell you except thank you again, and as we always say, so long.
This sales season, Ritual is urging you to think about what's essential. Your daily health? Pretty essential. Making sure your products are heavy metal tested, Clean Label Project certified, and sourced through a traceable supply chain? Also essential. So this Black Friday, skip the micro trends and put your savings where they matter. Your health. With 40% off daily essentials like stress relief and Symbiotic Plus for gut support. Head to ritual.com/podcast and shop responsibly.